Good morning, my name is Nitin Nair. I'm the Clinical Director at PhysioMed here at the Rogers Centre, Toronto, Canada. Most people aren't aware that in Eastern Europe, halotherapy was used to treat patients with skin and respiratory conditions. Salt has antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and superabsorbent properties. Dry pharmaceutical-grade salt is crushed into microparticles using a halo generator and dispensed into a controlled environment. Salt's natural anti-inflammatory properties begin to absorb and help to remove allergens, toxins, mucus, and phlegm, which detoxifies the lungs and helps the patient to breathe better. We expose the patient's skin to micro-sized salt particles, which allows for maximal topical absorption into the dermis. The American Lung Association estimates that over 50 million of adults and children in the United States suffer from some kind of respiratory and skin ailments, which makes halotherapy an even more effective and valuable service to offer to our patients. We have seen amazing results using halotherapy in children and adults suffering from respiratory and skin conditions. Some of the conditions that I can touch on are COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, sinusitis, bronchitis, emphysema, and some of the skin conditions which include eczema, dermatitis, and psoriasis.
The antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties of salt have been known throughout the ages. From the Dead Sea to the Himalayan salt mines, this healing mineral has been around for centuries. Even Hippocrates, the father of medicine, himself prescribed salt water for breathing ailments. From easing skin conditions like psoriasis and eczema to respiratory conditions like asthma and even cystic fibrosis, salt is being rediscovered as the miracle mineral that heals. But salt therapies can be used for tons of things, for colds, for allergies, for asthma, dermatitis, psoriasis of your skin, even cystic fibrosis has been arguably treated with salt therapy. So what I'm going to do today is walk you through these. It's called halotherapy. You're sucking through your mouth and training with that air past your tongue into your oral pharynx in the back of your throat. Then you exhale that same salt solution through your nose. So you clean your sinuses and everything up. Now, inside what's happening is you have cilia, these little fibers, little hairs. They've got thick mucus on them. The salt, those molecules hit it, and it loosens up the mucus so those cilia can push off the mucus that's trapped there. It's one of the reasons that we think it's so valuable dealing with cold and flu symptoms, because it helps you move that mucus. Go ahead.
I'd rather do it naturally than with something, I put medicine
and
in my
expectorants
nose.
or medication.
I love that idea.
And that's one of the reasons I love salt, because it's one of the things that's most fundamental to who we are. So you're dealing with something that doesn't have any real side effects to it.
In today's morning rounds, can salt help people with respiratory problems breathe more easily? Around 275 dry salt therapy rooms have opened across the U.S. and Canada, too, and that's up from about a dozen back in 2010. The advocates say that these rooms can treat everything from colds to asthma.
Halotherapy, as it's known, can help alleviate symptoms of a variety of conditions.
Asthma, COPD, sinus infections, colds, flus.
And what does salt do to impact that?
Salt has natural healing qualities, which are antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antiviral.
Pulmonologists like Dr. Gitan Michaud often have patients inhale high concentrations of salt with a nebulizer.
Essentially what it does is it actually helps kind of clear secretions and mucus from the airways.
The salt, she tells us, helps thin out the mucus in the airways, making it easier to cough out.
Is salt healthy or not? I've heard time and time again that salt is so bad for you and that you shouldn't eat too much of it. It can cause stomach cancer, kidney failure, and weight gain. But the answer is actually more complicated than that, because salt actually has incredible healing properties. So today we're here at Breathe Salt Rooms to speak with founder Ellen Patrick and find out more about the benefits of salt.
Throughout history, salt has been known to be a natural antibiotic, antifungal, antiviral, anti-inflammatory. In ancient times, salt was used to preserve food, and that's because it killed off bacteria. So what we're doing in dry salt therapy is using salt to kill bacteria in the respiratory system, to reduce inflammation, and it's all natural. The bad use of salt is when we intake it in through our digestive system.
So salt is better inhaled than consumed in our food.
Absolutely. We have a machine called a halo generator. It takes the salt and grinds it up even finer into almost like a powder-like quality. And then it fans it into the room so that the room then becomes filled with all this salt and you're inhaling it.
What conditions has salt therapy actually been proven to treat?
It has been proven to help with conditions like asthma, COPD, as well as common issues like sinus infections, cold, flu. In those cases, it helps to reduce inflammation that's caused by the irritation of allergens or bacteria. It also helps to kill the bacteria and the virus. So, it's when you describe dry salt therapy to people who have not heard about it before, all of a sudden it's like a light bulb goes on and they think, well, yeah, that's just common sense. I know that salt has all these qualities.
Tell me about salty yoga.
Most people don't breathe properly. And since the dry salt rooms are about breathing better, I thought it would be a good idea to offer yoga in a way that teaches people how to breathe more efficiently. So what happens in a salty yoga class is that we're actually preparing the body to breathe deeper. Oftentimes, tightness in muscles, inflexibility will prevent people from breathing as fully as they can. You're getting a good workout, but it's primarily working with the muscles of respiration, the diaphragm, the intercostal muscles. The yoga can be done directly on the salt. We offer mats as well. I kind of like it on the salt because I get an exfoliation on my feet.
Where does all this salt come from?
This salt that we're sitting in and that's on the walls is pink Himalayan salt, and it actually comes from Pakistan. And of all the different kinds of salt, the pink Himalayan salt gives off the most negative ions. Negative ions are very, very relaxing, as opposed to positive ions that come from our electronic equipment and tend to agitate. So the environment is a very relaxing environment.
Taking this yoga class was really what I needed because I just wanted a restorative class that was going to make my body feel good and cleanse out my sinuses. So it felt really great. It was relaxing. You could feel the salt in the air and on your lips, and really feels like you're in a salty cave. When you're doing the poses on the salt ground, it kind of exfoliates and massages your feet and your hands. So it really is a crazy experience and definitely not your typical yoga. I'm curious to see how it feels when I go to sleep, but right now I feel super relaxed. It's bizarre and unique and something you definitely have to try.